All right, so it's a three for unboxing tonight, all from the same seller. Now, the seller told me some weird things. Now, I like to buy holy relics, Catholic holy relics. And, well, I used to like really dabble with antiques. I'm looking for a knife right now. And I stopped really buying antiques and I started investing in holy relics. Now, you're really not supposed to sell them or buy them. It's really actually, I think, a canon law. It's an actual sin. And, but there's ways to get around it. If a seller well, actually, if a seller is selling the tekka that holds the holy relic in and giving you the relic for free, that's a loophole. Now, the same thing as buying them. If you're buying the tekka and getting the relic for free, it's really outside of the sin type of category. But this seller told me, let's start opening. This seller told me that he sells these relics for clergy members. And he said that the clergy gives him these holy relics, these first class holy relics, and that they actually ask him to actually do it on a consignment basis. And they sell these relics for clergy members, actual priests, Catholic priests. So a lot of you that might come on my video and chastise me for buying these, the priests are doing it too. So, I mean, if a priest is doing it, it's really it's actually quite scary if you think about it. Oh, I got a note in here. We don't want to have you crack maniacs read it, but it's really sort of really quite interesting, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. Okay, so this seller, I saw another relic that I wanted. And he put in a listing on eBay. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, there's a lot of shady things going on eBay. And I'll give you an example of it. A seller will list something for $1, opening bid, auction, and then have a make an offer button. Now, once you make an offer and it gets sent to the seller has, I think, a certain amount of hours to decide whether they want to take your offer or counter offer. Now, when you do it auction style, the minute somebody puts a bid on it, your actual offer gets 86th, or what we call in New York, it's like canceled. And so, for example, the seller had put a listing up for $1, make an offer, and I made an offer, and then I don't know, some person came along, of course, and saw a $1 opening bid and put a bid on it. And so my offer was canceled. So I contacted the seller and I said, my offer was canceled. I would like to offer you X amount of dollar. And the seller said, well, make me another offer. And I said, you don't understand. As soon as somebody places a bid, it's gone. The offer is gone. You can't make an offer at all. Same thing with buy it now. If a seller opens up an auction and has a buy it now button beneath that auction, say he opens up an auction for $9.99 and has a buy it now for $500. The minute someone places a bid for $9.99, the make an offer disappears or the buy it now disappears. And so that's an issue. And so what the seller did, now this is a little fishy, boys and girls. The seller actually canceled the person's bid, which is against eBay policy, unless you lost the item or broke it, and relisted it again for the dollar. And he said, make the offer and I'll accept it. Well, I went to make the offer. I made the offer. And before the seller could even see my offer, the same person, I guess it was the same person, bid on it again for $1. And so what happened was I contacted the seller and he said, that's impossible. And I showed him a screenshot of how the make an offer button disappeared and my make an offer or offer that I sent him was canceled. And then he said, oh, crap. And I said, you've been selling on eBay for years and didn't know this? And he said, yes, I did not know this. And I said, well, what do you want to do about this? And he said, I'll just send you the item. Merry Christmas. But it doesn't turn out that easy, boys and girls. And so in the letter, I thought I was getting one for free because I bought 3. He wrote, this is my info. I'm not showing you his info. You can send me a check. We can skip eBay in the future if you see something you like. So he wants to cut out eBay as the middleman. I'll sell for priests. Oh, I sell for priests also. Have to let it's items. I have to let the items run sometimes, meaning on auction. Thank you. And now he's expecting me to send him a check for $275, boys and girls. So I don't know what to do in this situation. And so this is corruption, boys and girls. Absolute and utter corruption. I didn't want to pay $275 for this item. I decided against it after we went through the rigmarole of him keep relisting the item, and somebody would place a bid marker for $1 opening bid, and then my offer would disappear and be canceled. I decided I don't have $275 because I bought 3 other items from this seller. By the way, he said he didn't get the right amount for them because I won them on auction and it didn't go as high as the priests that he was consigning these for wanted. So now he expects me to pay $275 for this item that I changed my mind about. Now what do I do, boys and girls? And so if priests are doing corrupt things by having some man sell these items for them on consignment because it's against the canon law of the Catholic Church to buy and sell first class and second class holy relics. What is this telling me, boys and girls? This is a criminal enterprise. And he's not the only one involved, boys and girls. I'm going to blow this case wide open. There are about 5 other sellers on eBay that do the same thing. They sell holy relics of the saints for priests and clergy members. Now, I can give you a just example. I know an Italian who's in Rome who actually sells me relics, and he's selling them for the clergy members from the Vatican. And so this is big business, boys and girls. And I don't know what to do now. How am I going to come up with the $275? I ended up using that $275 to win these 2 items. After the make an offer got canceled like 3 times and he kept relisting it and trying to accept my make an offer, and the other person said, oh, $1, I'll place a bid. I call that a place marker. And a place marker bid is when someone opens up a listing that is worth more money than the opening bid. For example, they list a $500 pair of sneakers and open up the auction at $9.99. Somebody puts a place marker bid on it at $9.99 just so the seller can't end the listing early and sell it out from under them. And so the person that places the place marker bid thinks or feels the seller's not going to sell it from under me because now we're in a binding contract, and these sellers actually end the listings and make up an excuse the item went lost or missing, and this is where the fraud comes in. Now, he wanted to take away that person's place marker bid. And he did 3 times. He ended the auction and relisted, started it at $1, put the make an offer button back on, and the other person kept placing the place marker bid until this guy ended up canceling the listing for the 4th time and sent it to me in this box, boys and girls. And now he expects me to write him a check for $275. I think I'm going to have to return this item. Let's look at it, actually. I'm going to probably have to... Now, he put things in here expecting me to go outside of eBay to pay him for these items where he's not going to pay fees. And the priest that he's selling this for is not going to have to pay fees on this, boys and girls. And so I'm feeling very, very, very uncomfortable right now. I think this is the item that he's expecting $275 for. What would you do, boys and girls? This is very shady. This is very, very criminal feeling. I feel this is very criminal. Wow, he really wraps this well. Where am I going to come up with $275 that I don't have right now? Because I bought the other 2 items here with that $275. I got it much cheaper by bidding on it. And by the way, boys and girls, you usually get items, it doesn't have to be holy relics, for much cheaper if you bid on an auction. For some reason, bidding on auctions, I've noticed for rare items or items that are of high value, usually go way cheaper than if you do a buy it now for a set price. And so this is really a mess. I got myself into a mess, and I feel like if I don't contact this guy and pay him the $275, I'm sinning, of course. That's stealing. But I changed my mind and ended up winning the other 2 items that he started at $1, and I got them for well less than the $275. These 2 items, which are first class holy relics, way less than the $275 he wanted for this one. And this is really, I don't know. This is really not a good thing, boys and girls. So I want you to tell me in the comments below what you would do if you were me. Now, what do I do? Send this back to him? I don't want to send it back. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I didn't open it yet. but I probably most likely want it. But I used the $275 for the other two items. By the way, he didn't get the right amount for it. And he did tell me in correspondence through eBay that what I won those two items for, he would have expected 3 times as much for each item. And the priests were expecting much more as well. So let's check this out. Okay, this is the $275 item. So this is the item he wants me to pay $275 for. Now, this is an antique. This one is from the 1800s. It is very old, boys and girls, and it's a first class or ex-ossibus. I don't know, can you even see this with this terrible camera? This right there is an ex-ossibus, and it does say ex-os, which means in Latin, of the bone, of Saint Agabi, Epi of actually Verona, I believe Verona, Italy. So he was like the bishop of Verona who became a saint. And this is really, yeah, this is beautiful, and I do love it. And look, has old writing on it. Ex ossibus means of the bone. Saint Agabi, Epi of Verona, et C, and his feast date is August the 4th. And this is actually written in old pen, boys and girls. I don't know if you could see that. But what do I do? Now I'm going to have to come up with $275 that I don't have. And I used it for the other two items. And he, without me asking, mailed this to me and put this in the box with my other auction win. By the way, I won 3 items on auction from the same seller. Let's check out what the other item is. This one is, it says press, I can't even pronounce it. It's Latin. It's like a Latin shorthand for I believe it's the nativity or the crib of Jesus. First class holy relic. This is worth about $500 to $700. I only paid for under like $100 for this on auction. All right, I was going to open the other two up live on camera from the same seller, but I'm in a coinkydink, boys and girls. And I'd like to know in the comments below. Now, I did not ask him to send this item. The way he wrote it was like he was gifting it to me for Christmas, because he said, I'll send it in the box with your item. He said, and then he wrote Merry Christmas. And he did write Merry Christmas. So I assumed, like an ass, and they say never assume because it makes an ass out of you and me. I assumed I was getting this item as a gift. I thought the guy, like I said, oh my God, I'm so blessed. I really thought I was blessed, boys and girls. And he made it seem like it was a gift to me because of all the rigmarole of him canceling this listing 3 times, well, 4 times, when he put it in the box and sent it to me and canceled the other bidder's bid. I assumed, well, he gave up and he probably said, you know what, the hell with it. Let me just send her this item. Merry Christmas. And so now, boys and girls, we're on the honor system. We're on the honor system, and it's doing what's right. But doing what's right sometimes is unaffordable. And I can't do what's right in this situation because I already bought 2 other items from the same seller with the money that I was going to use for this one, because the seller ended up doing a stupid thing by listing it and opening it up at $1. He should have never opened up, no seller should ever open a listing up or auction at $1. Why, boys and girls? Unless you're going to put a reserve, you can get screwed. Nobody else might see your listing. eBay can shadow ban your listing. And then what will happen is you might get $50 for a $500 item. It is not smart to ever open a listing for anything less than you're willing to actually let it go for. And so now, this is on my conscience. And guess what? My conscience doesn't make me any money, boys and girls. My conscience isn't filling my wallet up with 275 doll hairs right now. And I don't have a check to send this man where he gave me his address label. He stuck it to the piece of paper, which I'm not sharing with any of you. And he said, send me a check or money order to this address for 275 doll hairs, boys and girls. No, I never asked this man to send me this item that way. I already paid for the other 2 items, and I had the money for the other 2 items, but I don't have the money for this item. So I guess I'm going to have to mail this beautiful holy antique relic back to this man. And I don't want to, boys and girls, because now I feel actually like it's meant for me. It's like that feeling you get, you love something, and now I'm screwed, and I don't know what to do. Can I have a GoFundMe? Will you guys be interested in donating to where we can get a fund going for $275? That's grifting. And most of you will be like, screw you. You don't need no $275 first class holy relic. Let's try to take the back of this off because I want to see if it has the stamp from the Vatican. And it does, boys and girls. This is actually real. And it's sealed. Oh, yes, this is Vatican. Oh, I don't know what to do, boys and girls. Write in the comments below if, I have like 6,800 subscribers. If each of you gave me like 50 cents, I would have more than enough money to pay for Saint Agipi or whatever his name is. Now, it's really scary because I need to do what's right. I don't steal and I don't rob people and I don't take from people. And so I need to come up with 275 freaking dollars to pay for this item. Otherwise, I guess I have to send it back. But then it's going to cost me money to send it back to this guy. And I don't think what he did was right. It's basically putting me on the spot. And then he ends up saving the eBay fees, which would have probably been at least $30 to $40 to $50. And so what do you think? I want you to write in the comments below. What would you do if you were me? Would you do the dishonest thing and keep it and not pay? That would be A. Would you do B? Would you send it back at your own dollar? Or C? Would you try to like rob Peter to pay Paul to come up with the money to just send this guy via check? You tell me in the comments below. That would be C. Or D, none of the above. But my God, so I got the crib of the manger of Jesus, first class holy relic. This one is worth at least $500 to $1,000. And this one is an unknown saint. I think he lived in the 3rd century AD. And there's really not much said about this saint. He's not a big league saint. He's not a Saint Anthony, boys and girls. He's definitely not a Saint Thomas. He's not a St. Jude, boys and girls, but it's still a lovely old antique ex ossibus relic, first class. Oof. I don't know. Both of these are first class relics, boys and girls. What would this one be worth? Probably anywhere between 300 to 800 doll hairs. Now he's giving it to me for $275, but I don't have $275. Oh, we have E, letter E. Would you guys be willing to send me some kind of funds? Maybe we can get a fun, what do they call that? A fundraiser. Or are you going to tell me to go F myself? Probably in the comments like, you grifter, YouTuber begging for money. Yeah, it's shameful, boys and girls. And I just don't know what to do. All right, so here's we did a whole video about how the eBay scams, sellers not putting reserves on their listings, listing their stuff with an opening bid of $1, which is not very smart, number one. Number two, we're finding out there's corruption with Catholic priests, that's number two. A seller that just put me on the spot for $275, and this is a whole mess. It's a fiasco. And I'm not going to open the other two boxes because I have anxiety right now. I actually have very high anxiety on the anxiety Richter scale of 10 being the highest, where you want to call an EMS. Well, in New York, it's EMS, or otherwise known as the ambulance. I'm probably at a 7 right now, boys and girls. And that's not good. And it's time for me to take my sedative. All right, so we have a happy ending and an update to the story. Now, I'll be honest with you, I did not want to see this go. I really loved it because of its old history. I mean, this thing is really, really, really old. Actually, let's try to look at it. This is from about 1806. And I didn't want to let a piece of history like this go. And so I had a discussion with my husband. He was none too happy. Let's just put it that way. And he made me make a deal with him. Now, I have an issue with letting things go. And when I say letting things go, you can call it selfishness or stinginess, but I don't like to let any of my antiques go. And he said, if I send this guy a check or money for $275, you have to give something away. And I have a big issue with giving things away because of a traumatic childhood. I won't go into that. And pretty much everything I ever had was taken away from me when I was a child. And so I have a little bit of a hoarding issue, boys and girls. And so my husband said, if you give away one of your other holy relics to our local parish priest as a gift, I will pay for this through PayPal or whatever the guy wants, and it will be yours. And so, boys and girls, I had to give up my Saint Therese of Lisieux, including Saint Gerard, Saint Anne de Beaupré, and who was the other one? Saint Alfred Pampelon, a holy reliquary crucifix, which is probably worth about $500 to $800, and I had to give it away. By the way, I put it in this gorgeous, gorgeous reliquary. Do you see this? I had one on hand, thankfully. And so my husband made me put it in a box and wrap it up and write a note to the local priest. And he paid with PayPal. I called this guy up, spoke to him on the phone, and we paid him by PayPal. Well, I didn't pay him. And my husband is none too happy, but I ended up halfway winning, I guess you can say. And I had to give away. I learned something, charity. My husband said, you want this? You have to be charitable. And so we all learn a lesson. Yeah, pretty much. I thought I was getting something for free, and I thought how blessed I was. And it turns out everything's a business, boys and girls. And I'm not talking bad about that man, because that man, he's like each and every one of us. He needs a roof, to pay for a roof over his head and to feed his family as well. And so I learned a very, very harsh lesson that I had to give away my 4 first-class holy relics and 1 crucifix that was contained in 1 reliquary crucifix in order to get this. So we learned sacrifice. Today's word is sacrifice. Thanks for watching. See you guys, you guys. What am I saying here? I'm losing it. I have anxiety. And yeah, I had to take a Xanax. And let me tell you, boys and girls, I learned about charity and giving things away. And I'm not too happy about it. I'm not going to lie. See you guys all on the next unboxing.